beyond your wildest dreams.
So many things I never could see. So many choices falling on me. Could it be my destiny to be Shaman King?
To be Shaman King. If your spirit is strong, you could be the one.
I can look at the world in a different light. I know what it takes to make it right, and I won't give up the fight to be Shaman King.
Hey guys, welcome back to Everything Anime Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Shinry, here at the Everything Anime Podcast, talking from anime, manga, video games, TV shows, and everything on top of what I'm talking about. Today's video is on Shaman King Volume 1. Now, if you haven't seen my Shaman King video about the Shaman King, the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood effect, I was basically talking about how the Shaman King manga had ended. Well, no, it didn't end. It had, like, the author took a break, like a long hiatus, like D. Gray Man. Like, you ever read D. Gray Man? You know D. Gray Man went on break for like 2 years. Shaman King had that kind of ending where one of these volumes, the author had just said he was like done writing, he was tired, he was taking a break. And then some years later, we got the end of Shaman King. Like, I think the last 5 years, somebody told me, like 2010 or something like that. Anyways, Shaman King, the anime, was following the adaptation up to a point, just like Full Metal Alchemist does and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood does to an extent. They follow each other to an extent, then Brotherhood follows the manga faithfully, and Full Metal Alchemist does its own thing. The Shaman King anime, around episode 20, just about when they start getting into the Shaman King tournament, that's when the anime deviates completely. And I found out the reasons why. One of the reasons why was that it was too gory, too bloody, like, not gory. It wasn't kid-friendly. Like, you ever seen 4 Kids in One Piece? Sanji didn't have a cigarette, he has a lollipop. And Yu-Gi-Oh! They don't have guns, they have, like, cards that they throw. Stuff like that. Or they got rid of the guns completely, or they, instead of talking about death, which is really what the Shadow Realm is, they're like, oh, it's just a place where, you know, you go to lose the game. But it was actually death. So, you know, that was basically what happened to Shaman King. Shaman King, 1, the manga had never finished, and then 2, like, it was just, I guess for 4 Kids, it was too dark. Because Shaman King was shown on 4 Kids TV. And so I personally have never seen the manga ending or read the manga ending of Shaman King up until like volume, somewhere in the last 20s. Late 20s, I had stopped. Because again, it went on break. And so, and I've seen all the anime. I bought the 4 Kids version DVD, but now that I know that it completely deviates, I want to know what's his name? Hiroyuki Taki, I'm sorry, I'm saying her name completely wrong, what he originally envisioned. Because I remember the first time I found Shaman King, this volume, I was inspired by the cover. Like, the way anime and manga gets my attention, I'll either flip through it, look for cool action scenes and stuff like that, or I'll go based off the cover. One of the covers that caught my attention early as a kid was One Piece. I loved how dynamic Luffy looked and all that. And plus the One Piece intro, the One Piece rap, if you ain't heard it, go ahead and listen to it. The Shaman King manga, Zombie Powder got my attention that way. Yu Hakusho. If you've seen my manga ranking video, you guys know all the mangas and animes I've read so far. A lot of them got my attention based on covers. But Shaman King was definitely one of them because I was like, okay, this cover looks really interesting. And I missed that the way Shonen Jump and all these manga covers used to look so unique and so different. So we'll be doing, I don't know how often I'm going to review a Shaman King full volume. I'm thinking once a week, but I have other videos planned. I have other things going on in life, so I'm going to blow them as fast as I can. We're going to go through the whole Shaman King Volume 1 manga together because I really, really love this. This was one of my earliest mangas that I really, really loved. Now, I will also mention something else. In the anime, their names are different than in the manga. So, even though his name in the manga is Manta, or I think it's Yamana or Manta, something like that. In the anime, he's called Morty. In the anime, his name is Len, but in the manga, his name is Ren, Yo's first antagonist. So I'll be using their anime names because I like them better, and like, again, that's what I'm more drawn to. But I do love this manga. So when the story opens up, we actually follow Morty. Even though Yo is our like protagonist, the main character, Morty is the character we see. We see the world through Morty's eyes. We see the shaman world through Morty's eyes. You're gonna learn what a shaman is and what the Shaman King is at some point in these volumes. We're gonna talk about it as we get there. But Morty, he's just a human. He kind of becomes a shaman later. Spoilers, not spoilers. This is a 20-year-old manga, okay? If you don't know, you way behind, okay? But Morty kind of becomes a shaman later, but not really. But Morty is a kid that can see ghosts. He's like a normal kid. He goes to school every day. He believes in hard work. He believes like, if you study hard in school, one day it'll all pay off. He's super studious, and on the way to school, even though it looks like it's nighttime, like, it's really weird. Like, I don't know if Morty goes to like a night school. I don't know if his school gets out late, but like, when it opens up, Morty's always like running away to school or home or something like in the middle of the night. But anyways, it's at this time he runs into Yo Asakura, our first and main protagonist. But what's hilarious is that Morty's never seen a ghost, nor has he ever seen a shaman before. Like Morty, I think it's called your third eye, your sixth sense. It awakened the moment he ran into Yo, but all this time he's never seen a ghost before. This will be his first encounter with a ghost. So, and I wasn't sure if this was an anime-only scene because I don't remember if Yo sees him rushing or whatever like that. But I know like Yo asked him like, "Hey, what's your rush, kid? Where are you going? Why don't you hang out here in the graveyard with us?" And Morty's like, "What do you mean us?" And all of a sudden Morty sees all these ghosts just chilling with Yo. He's like, "What the fuck?" Oh no, Yo specifically loves to stargaze. He's like, "Hey, why don't you stargaze with me and my friends?" And Morty's like, "Oh, what kind of crazy guys talking about us? Like, you're out here all alone. Who wants to stargaze?" Morty thinks he's crazy because clearly Yo is alone, and that is until he takes a closer look and realizes he's surrounded by ghosts. And understandably, Morty freaks out. Morty's like, "What the fuck?" I don't know why his sixth sense, his third eye opened up just now. I don't know if it's because like being in the presence of a shaman like opened up his like, again, spoilerish things, shamanic abilities, because we need another character soon named Ryu, Wooden Zord Ryu, that kind of, in a way, acts the same way. I mean, you can think of it like Bleach, where like Ichigo or He-Man and Chad didn't know about their abilities until they came in contact with Ichigo, and like he unlocked his Soul Reaper abilities that were latent inside of him. So it could be like that, like Morty being around Yo, being around a shaman, opens up his shamanic abilities. The next day at school, Morty tries to tell everyone at school about it, but no one believes him. They all think he's going crazy. They're like, "Morty, what are you doing hanging out in that graveyard anyway? Like, that's where I forgot the name of that gang. It's Ryu's gang. It's like, what are you doing out there anyway? It's a dangerous area, and like a gang hangs out there. And on top of that, Morty, ghosts don't exist. Like, you're crazy. There ain't nobody in the graveyard. You must have been oversleeping. You watch a scary movie. You're a big scaredy cat." And for a nerdy character, he's kind of popular. Like, all these kids know who Morty is. They kind of fuck with him, okay? They joking at him, they teasing him right now, but they kind of fuck with Morty. And what's even better is the next day he finds out that Yo is a new student at their school and is joining their class. But when Morty tries to out Yo, he's like, "Hey, that's the kid that's in the graveyard. He was hanging out with all them ghosts." And Yo's like, "I don't know who that kid is. I never met him in my life." Like, and Morty seems more crazy. Like, how you gonna make a new kid seem crazy, Morty? You are out your mind. You wildin' today, Morty. Oh my god, I really love that. And it's the same in the anime. Like, yeah, and Yo has a good reason. But yeah, Yo's like, "I don't know who you are, kid. I don't know somebody. Ghosts don't exist. Ghosts aren't real." Even more, Yo falls asleep on their first day of school, so Morty starts thinking that he's too cool for school. Morty's like, "Hey, this new kid just showed up here. He lied, saying he don't know who I am. He lied about seeing them ghosts, and now he's over here sleeping in class. Oh, this guy must think he's too cool to study. He must be a slacker. He must be lazy." He decides to stalk him out to school, hoping to expose him and his ghost buddies. He's like, "Hey, once I get proof that this guy can see spirits and he hangs out with ghosts, I'm gonna confront him. I'm gonna be like, 'Why you lied?' But really, we know that is just Yo. Yo is laid back. He's kind of relaxed. He loves to stargaze. And he's actually who I idoled Shinry Makai in the Shinry series about. Like, instead of stargazing like Yo, Shinry cloud watches. He likes watching clouds, and he's kind of laid back. And Shinry's also powerful. Shinry's personality isn't directly like Yo, but it was inspired by a lot of things that I got from Yo reading the Shaman King manga. So I really like that. But as Morty and Yo get closer, Yo tells Morty the reason why he couldn't admit that he could see ghosts at school is because he's a shaman. And he can't, others know that, other potential shamans in the area know that he's a shaman as well, because, little does Morty know, there's a tournament going on and they have to fight. Shamans, when they cross paths, they have to battle each other. And so Morty is like, oh, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but this tournament is only held once every 500 years. It's called the Shaman King. But again, we ain't there yet because it's not explained yet in the manga. But it's coming up. So anyways, Morty, however, can't drop it and is fascinated to learn more about shamans. He's like, what's a shaman? He's like, okay, I have to know more. Like, what is this about? This guy, he can see ghosts. He can interact with ghosts. I just saw ghosts. I know he's admitting to me that he can't tell other people that he's a shaman, but he told me. So I'm like, okay, I want to know more. He learns that some are medicine men who borrow the power of spirits to like create medicines and heal others, treat illnesses. Others act as guides and offer like a way or a path to the other side, or like just guidance. Like, if you're looking for communication to talk to somebody you love. And the final way, the one that we know that's used in the Shaman King tournament, is used for battles in the physical world. Shamans can borrow the powers of a boxer that died and obtain boxing abilities. They can obtain the powers of a nature spirit and use the power of nature, specifically ice, my favorite character, Horo. Or you can use the power like Anna, who is Yo's future wife, / girlfriend, who we haven't met yet. She channels spirits and can help pass to their side. So shamans have various abilities in different ways they interact with this world. And the best thing I love about Shaman King Volume 1 is it shows you how Yo interacts with other spirits. Like, some will be used for battle, some will be used to communicate with others and help others pass on or help others that like miss somebody move on, or just save people like throughout the day. It's really cool how Shaman King shows the different abilities of shamans and how to use them outside of fighting. Honestly, though, Morty's kind of envious of that life. He's like, man, I wish I could lay back and and just chill with spirits and not have to worry about school. Like, I'm like, that'd be the life. Morty wishes he could be laid back. He wishes he could have a life like that. And from what I remember from the manga and the anime ending, Morty never. I mean, I don't know how the manga ends for Morty, but I know in the anime, Morty stays studious. He does at one point go on an adventure with Yo, but it's like during summer, and that's when the Shaman King tournament takes place. But once the tournament's over, Morty kind of goes back to school. He's just like, oh, okay, Yo and my other friends are out there attending the tournament, waiting for the next tournament. But like, I had to get back to school. I had to get back and studying. They're studious. So I'm curious how it ends with Morty's story in this as well. Now, he also goes to mention, because again, Morty's very studious. He's like, well, you're not going to get that far in life just being laid back and slacking. He envies that someone can have that kind of relaxed lifestyle, but he's like, I'll never get that far in life, because again, Morty's opposite, where Yo is laid back and, it seems like he's just a slacker. Morty's like, oh, well, in the real world, outside of spirits, you got to get a job, you got to take care, you got to get a house, you got to be able to pay a car note, stuff like that. You gotta pay car note, get groceries and shit like that. Being a shaman ain't gonna put no food on the table, okay? Meanwhile, back at the graveyard, a group of troubled teens are hanging out in a graveyard where Yo previously was the night before, and their leader's name is Wooden Zord Ryu. This would become my favorite character. I have a lot of favorite characters. Almost every character in Shaman King is my favorite character, but Ryu is gonna be hilarious, and you're gonna know why, especially with this dude. Okay, Ryu's personality is defined by his haircut. Okay, trust me. You're gonna find out when what happens throughout the series. You will come to live. I put in my notes. You will come to love this character and his goofy hairstyles. Ryu's hair changes more than Mayuri's appearance in Bleach. Okay, the scientist guy of the captain of Squad 12. Yeah, he changes more than Mayu. Okay. Ryu is our first antagonist, and I love how he fits into the story, even though he's disrespecting the tombstones in the graveyard, one specifically known as Amidamaru, or the fiend Amidamaru. So Ryu, his whole thing is he's looking for his happy place. We'll get more on that in the story. We'll learn more about what that means in the story as well. But Ryu and his gang, they're like troubled teens. They're kicked out of school. They don't have homes. They are each other's family. And so Ryu's like, one day we're going to find our happy place. And right now it's this graveyard. They think, oh, this graveyard's our happy place. This graveyard's where we can hang out. No one bother us. No one tells us to go. No one tells us to do. No one tells us to get jobs. We can do whatever we want here.
No one's saying do this.
Now when I said that,
No one's saying be there.
what I meant was...
No one's saying stop that.
You don't realize. Now say
And so, Amidamaru, like while he's chilling on his grave, he's stepping on Amidamaru's grave, a legendary samurai that was known as the Fiend. And his group's like, whoa, Ryu, what are you doing? That's Amidamaru's grave. And he's like, what, this? He was like, yeah. And he was like, he killed a lot of people like 600 years ago. And he was feared as much in life as he is in death. Like, Ryu, if you step on that gravestone, you'll be cursed. And so, what does Ryu think about this? Ryu just takes his wooden sword and smashes that gravestone. Now, whether you believe in spirits or not, one thing you should always never do is disrespect somebody's gravestone. That is where somebody died, somebody is laid to rest, and people come to visit them and their loved ones and their friends. Although he is known as the Fiend Amidamaru, somebody probably loved that man at some point, you know, or someone respects that man. And so, Ryu, you're seeing how much of he's an antagonist. He's not really a bad guy, but he is our first antagonist. He's like, you're seeing like his personality. Like Ryu doesn't respect spirits. He thinks it's all a joke. This woo ghost. I'm not scared of no goddamn ghost. Okay, he's like, fuck the Ghostbusters. Though the rest of his crew is awed by his actions, they're not cheering on Ryu for destroying that grave. They're like, whoa, boss, that's kind of crazy. You might be cursed. Ryu tries to taunt the ghost to come out. He's like, where you at? What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for? That's what Ryu doing.
Jump! Bill, get back in there.
No!
What are you doing up there?
Be reasonable.
I can't take this fucking job or those greasy shithead teenagers anymore. I'm gonna end it all.
Wait! Hold on! We're getting help for you!
Now we know Bobby's not the killer, so who is?
I don't know.
Well, if the killer was in your house last night, why didn't he just kill you then?
Because he's just messing with us. Don't you see? He's got us right where he wants us. We can't go to the police. He's just out there watching us and waiting for us. What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
What am I waiting for? What am I waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
Fuck you!
Oh, girl from I know what you did last summer. Oh my god. Oh god. But that's because Ryu doesn't have his shamanic talents yet. Hold on, guys, my nose is dripping. Give me 1 second. However, Ryu's only doing that, being antagonistic to the ghost, because he doesn't have his shamanic abilities yet. And Ryu doesn't know that spirits exist. He can't see them just yet. And neither can his crew. But instead of finding ghosts, they do find Morty, who was simply looking for Yo. Morty came there, back to the graveyard looking for Yo. Like I think they met like earlier in the day, and then Morty went off to like study about shamans, and he was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go see what this slacker's doing. I'm gonna go check on him again. Ryu, however, doesn't believe it was Morty. Oh, forgetting one other thing. So when Ryu got to his happy place in the graveyard, they suspected that someone had been there, and of course it was Yo. And they're like, oh, somebody's been here in our happy place. We gotta fuck that person up. And again, Morty knows that Yo was there the night before. So Morty went there looking for Yo. Ryu's there because it's his happy place. And Yo was just there the night before chilling with the ghost spirits. So Ryu was like, oh, you must be the kid that was in my happy place. We're going to mess you up. And before I forget, everyone oh yeah, I've already talked about this. Everyone has, well, I didn't talk about this completely. Everyone has their own kind of motivation. So Yo wants to become Shaman King so he can have an easy laid back life. The Shaman King, again, spoilers, we ain't even there yet, but we'll talk about it later again, but just a heads up from Volume 1 and being ahead of the manga. The Shaman King is the person that fuses with God, the Great Spirit. Like, you can change the world, make the world however you want it to be. And Yo just wants to be wants to fuse with God, when it comes to Shaman King, he just have a laid back life. He's like, oh, once I become the Shaman King, I can do whatever I want. I can just lay back, watch the stars all day, I ain't got to have no problems or issues. Morty studies hard so he can succeed in life. Morty's whole thing is like he wants to study. Like I said, he's studious. He believes like the only way you can get farther in life, the only way you can have a happy life and successful life is like you study. But Ryu is simple, as I said. He simply wants to find his happy place, a place where he feels like he belongs. So those are their motivations so far, the 3 characters we met. But again, you'll learn more about this over the volumes. The next day, Morty comes to school all beaten up, and the other kids make fun of him, all but one, and that's Yo, because he admits he can see a ghost, and he also says that Morty is his friend. So the rest of the kids are like, hey, you went back to that graveyard looking for ghosts, and you stead and found Ryu and his gang. We told you not to go back there, Morty. We told you not to go ghost hunting. And Yo's like, hey, don't make fun of Morty. He's my friend, and ghosts do exist. And Yo don't wait to for them to say something to him. He grabs Morty's hand and he yanks him, and he's walking the hallway thinking, hey, we're going to go to that graveyard. We're going to fight Ryu, and we're going to teach him a lesson for beating you up. You're my friend. He drags Morty back with him to the cemetery. All the while, Morty's like, hey, why are you doing this? I ain't never agreed to this. And Joe's like, hey, well, we're friends now, right? Like, let me avenge you. Let me show you how much you mean to me. You're the first person I met here, and you're nice to me. I like you. They go to the cemetery to confront Ryu, and despite Morty's, again, clear protesting and fear, Yo is not only calm and collected, he says he's got a secret weapon. So Yo's like, hey, Morty, relax. We're going to deal with this dude, Ryu. He ain't a big deal. I got a secret weapon, and this guy ain't got nothing, and this guy can't do nothing about it. And what's his secret weapon? Even Ryu's like, what is that then? What's your secret weapon? It's the spirit of Midamaru, the Fiend Samurai. The Fiend Samurai is here. Morty can see him because Morty cannot see ghosts. But again, Ryu cannot yet. Ryu does not have his shamanic abilities yet. And since Ryu hasn't unlocked the shamanic abilities, he's like taunting Yo. He's like, oh, you bought your ghost friends to help you? Oh, okay. He bought a ghost with him. He bought the spirit of Midamaru. And the rest of the gang are like, they're kind of nervous. Well, they're also, because nothing happened the night before, they're also kind of like hyping up Ryu. They're like, yeah, Ryu, this guy's a joke. But the way a shaman fights is with the spirit, is by first turning him to a spirit orb, or I think it's called flame mode, but in the anime it's called spirit mode. And you fuse that spirit into your body with something called integration. And now you have the abilities of whatever spirit that you've taken over. And so you allow basically the spirit to possess your body and take over. And basically use you as a weapon or a tool. And it does change later in the manga that you can put them into objects. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. And thus, Yo has given the abilities of the legendary samurai, Midamaru. And with this power, Yo takes down Ryu with ease. Or at least his hair. Now, again, you're going to get the gag later. But when Ryu goes to strike down Yo, I forget, his minions start attacking that Yo is expertly dealing with him because, again, Midamaru is a samurai. He's fought countless wars. He was known as the Fiend. He's taking down these fools like nothing. And then Ryu goes to attack, thinking he's going to take him out and avenge his buddies. And Yo, under him, cuts his wig in half. I don't know. Not wig, his hair in half. He got this long ass do. But again, you'll understand the gag when we see Ryu later. Now, don't worry. I haven't put it in here. It's a recurring gag. See, I be so far ahead of my notes sometimes. The following day, Morty and Yo are hanging out in the park again, enjoying nature. But like normal, Morty's freaking out because of all the ghosts. Yo's like, hey, Morty, you having a good time? And Morty's like, no, there's too many goddamn ghosts here. What the fuck do you mean? How are you comfortable with this? And he forgets that Yo is a shaman. This is what he does. He hangs out with ghosts. He gets to know them. He helps them. But Yo didn't come here for school just to hang out or to hang out with the ghosts. He came here seeking a partner. Because in the Shaman King tournament, you need a ghost partner, a spiritual ally to fight in the tournament. A ghost who can bond with and share knowledge and skills and abilities with to achieve a status as a full-fledged shaman. So right now, Yo's kind of a shaman in training until he gets his first shaman spirit ally. And the spirit ally he's chosen, of course, is going to be Midamaru. But upon asking Midamaru initially refuses. Midamaru's like, no. I'm not going to be your spirit ally. Sorry, pass. And he don't give Yo a reason. You learn the reason later when Midamaru is talking to another spirit. But Midamaru refuses to leave this place, but Yo is determined to make him his partner. Despite Morty warning him, Midamaru is known as the Fiend. Yo, you can choose any spirit you want. Don't choose that guy. He killed a lot of people. And Yo's like, I don't know. I feel a lot of warmth coming from him. I don't feel like he's evil at all. And again, Yo, being that kind of calm, laid-back character, he can sense the goodness of people and the badness of people. He's like, I don't sense any savagery or anger. He felt like a good spirit. I want him to be my ally. As Midamaru is left to his own devices, we learn that he's in fact waiting for someone. Who that person is, we don't know yet. But Midamaru is like, I've been dead for 600 years. I'm not leaving the spot. I'm waiting right here till that person arrives. Now, you would think somebody 600 years ago that he's waiting for is probably long gone and dead. Unless they're immortal. But we'll get there. Meanwhile, Yo and Morty go to a museum where they find the Zord that Midamaru used 600 years ago, still in pristine condition. Now, Morty knows this because, again, he's studious. Morty knows everything about a lot of knowledge and stuff like that. So he's like, I know about Midamaru. His legendary blade is in this museum, and it's been here for 600 years, and it's been kept in good condition because, they put it on a slack. And thankfully they did come here because the answer they were seeking is right there in front of them. A Swordsmith spirit is sitting on Amitymaru's blade and waiting to give them some answers. Now, I believe the name of this Swordsmith is Monosuke. I might be saying the name wrong, but he was the best friend of Amitymaru 600 years ago, and he killed him. But there's a twist. And I love a great twist. Trust me, I write them all the time. Amitymaru trained to be the perfect samurai, and Monosuke trained to be the perfect swordsmith. They forged the blade together to be perfect and unstoppable. So Monosuke would create a blade, and he would have Amitymaru use it, and if the blade broke, Monosuke was like, okay, I'll make another one. That wasn't strong enough. And Amitymaru would go train with that one, and he'd break the blade. He'd be like, okay, that wasn't strong enough. I want to give you the strongest blade possible. I don't want there to be any Zord that you can defeat. If I can make you, Amitymaru, my best friend, a Zord that you cannot be broken, that cannot be defeated, then I've achieved my dream. And Amitymaru, you will be the greatest samurai ever known. We also learned that Monosuke and Amitymaru were homeless, but a noble lord saw interest in their talent together because the world they lived in was in famine and bandits would often steal food from the royals. And because Amitymaru was so strong and because Monosuke could create these fascinating and strong blades, the noble was like, hey, if you two protect us, we'll give you food, we'll give you a place to sleep in this time of famine 600 years ago. And so they were undefeated. They were protecting the royal family and everything. So he took them in. He was like, all right, you two, you can stay here. You can sleep here. You're welcome home, okay? You welcome. Protect me, basically. But it was all never well for long because the noble told Amitymaru to kill his best friend. Monosuke, because the blade he created was so powerful, he wanted there to be no equal. He was like, oh, Amitymaru, this blade is so fascinating, so strong. I don't want there to ever be a blade stronger than this. I don't want that guy to create another blade stronger than this. Kill him. And there's a Key and Peele skit I'm gonna stitch in here so you guys will get. Amitymaru did not want to kill his best friend. He told him no. He told his best friend to run. He was like, Monosuke, get out of here. They're going to kill you tonight. As long as you escape, I'm willing to take the fall. I will say that I'll let you get away and I'll take whatever comes to me. Like, I don't want to kill my best friend, and I don't want you to have to die or see me die either. But Monosuke asked Amitymaru to come with him. But Amitymaru refused because, like what Zoro once said, a cut to a swordsman's back is a swordsman's greatest dishonor. And even though Amitymaru was like that, Amitymaru was like, hey, I swore my life to protect this noble. He gave us food. He gave us a place to sleep. The only thing he asked is that I kill you, but I refuse to do that. So I will protect him until I die. And if he chooses to kill me instead, I'm willing to take that. But Monosuke, please get out of here. You're my best friend. I'll take the punishment for your escape. So Monosuke asked him to make a deal with him. He said, wait 24 hours. Wait right here. I will crash you a blade even stronger than this previous one. And one day only is all I need. And Amitymaru agreed to wait. He's like, Monosuke's like, after tomorrow, I'll run. But let me give you a blade. Let me give you a blade that will never be defeated. Because that was his promise. Remember, Amitymaru would be the strongest swordsman ever. And Monosuke would be the greatest blacksmith ever. That gave him the strongest swordsmith ever that ever existed. And he would give him a blade that would not break. Unfortunately, though, someone spied on them and overheard their plan. They killed Monosuke the night before he could meet Amitymaru, and then they came to kill him as well for disobeying their lord. They're like, oh, Amitymaru, what you doing out here? What you doing out here, Fred? Fred! I'm sorry. My nephew in my head. Anyways, yeah. So Amitymaru was like, I'm waiting here for my best friend. I'm not leaving the spot. Even though they just told him Monosuke is dead. Amitymaru was like, no, my best friend's not going to die. He told me to wait right here. I'm not leaving this spot. And that is why Amitymaru is there in present day as well. Now, the same night he also received the nickname The Fiend was this night. Because, obviously, Amitymaru stayed there the whole night, fighting to his death. He killed a bunch of men. But obviously, he would have got tired. He would have got overwhelmed. The royal sent all his army after Amitymaru. So even though as strong as he was, he lost that night. He lost his life. And so Monosuke can never forgive himself or move on because Amitymaru, if he had that blade that he was forging for Amitymaru, he's like, he would have never lost that fight. He would have survived. My best friend would be alive, and even if I would have died, my best friend would have had the blade, and he would never have lost that fight. So Monosuke blames himself. And Yo is like, oh, is that all? Which gets a hilarious reaction from the Monosuke. He's like, what? You insensitive bitch. What you made it at all? My best friend died, and I died trying to make a blade for him. And the noble lord turned against us. But that's because he didn't know Yo was a shaman. Yo was like, oh, I can take it to your best friend. We can deliver this blade to him. That ain't nothing. And Morty even adds that Amidamaru never passed away, never passed on. He's still in that same spot waiting for you. Amidamaru is waiting in that spot for you 600 years ago where you told him to meet him. And Monosuke is waiting on that blade, feeling like Amidamaru passed on and he can go face his best friend in the afterlife. He's like, oh man, I'm so ashamed. My best friend died. I couldn't get this blade to him. He would have never died that night. He was protecting me. If he would have just killed me, he'd still be alive. They both feel like something is their fault, but it's neither of their faults. But Yo isn't going to deliver Monosuke's sword for him. He's going to help Monosuke deliver it to Amidamaru himself by integrating him into his body. So we get a really cool scene of Yo with a blade in his hand, but it looks like a hammer, and Monosuke's hand, the spirit that's standing over him, because again, you have the power and spirit and the abilities of the spirit that's possessing you. This also begins to show the uniqueness of the show and the shaman abilities. Still, Monosuke was too shy to face his friend before Yo ever went to meet him, so Monosuke passed on. He's like, oh, I'm still afraid. And unfortunately, in the anime, Amidamaru still doesn't go meet Monosuke. Although I think Monosuke does come back, so it might be... This is, spoiler, that's who possesses Morty for a previous moment, or for a little bit, and then Amidamaru and Monosuke get to have a moment, and Morty gets to become a shaman for like 2 seconds. It was dope. It was a dope scene. I know we spoiled it already, but it's going to be hype when we get there, okay? Because these two best friends, they don't get to meet for at least 20 volumes, okay? So it's just some hype, okay? Again, 20-year-old manga, baby. 20-year-old manga. We just don't know how it ends. I don't know how it ends, okay? Don't spoil it in the comments. We're going to get to this volume together. Amidamaru knows that even though Yo brought him the blade without Monosuke being with him, he's like, I know you couldn't lie about this. Like, no one else could have forged this blade other than Monosuke. He knows Monosuke's craftsmanship. He knows his best friend. And so Yo and Amidamaru become partners officially because Amidamaru was like, hey, you settled a debt between me and my best friend. You helped him pass on. So I'm ready to finally go with you and I'll be your spirit. And again, like I said, I can't wait to see how the manga actually ends, because I don't know how the Shaman King manga ends. I know how the anime ends, and it was somewhat satisfying, but I really want to know how he originally wanted it to end. The following day, Morty and Yo are running late to school because Yo wants to slack off his sleep when a billboard suddenly falls down and nearly crushes Yo to death. But thankfully, Yo survives. However, we're going to see some angry spirit is watching him from the shadows. And there's some lore with this billboard that we're going to get to. Yo learns from Morty that this specific billboard is haunted. It's known for always falling down and nearly crushing somebody or killing somebody to death. It's known for just killing people. And Yo finds it suspicious. Also, I love how Yo passes his fencing class by integrating with Amidamaru. They're like taking a fencing class. And he's using his sword play skills to pass, which is hilarious, even though Morty finds it as cheating. Because again, Yo's spirit is a samurai. So when he has to do a fencing class, he's like, oh, this ain't nothing. Amidamaru's like, oh, this is just child's play, okay? This is barely training for me. I barely move my hand. He also uses a spirit for running track, for playing piano, for passing tests, and visual arts. Basically, Yo is using his shaman skills to cheat through school. Or you would think it's cheating, because in the shaman world, this is what shamans do. They borrow the abilities of spirits. To run track, because Yo is not physically fit to run track, he used a spirit of a track star that died from probably running. He used a girl that played piano, because she died, I think, for her big rehearsal or whatever. And then a nerd that... studied to death or something like that, or he got picked on, but he uses him to pass tests, and a visual arts, I forgot what. But it was very unique, very creative, and you'll see that if you look at the panels and stuff like that. And from what we know about Morty from the previous chapter, obviously this pisses him off because hard work and proving yourself is Morty's whole thing. So Morty gets mad at Yo. He storms off. He's like, hey, you're cheating. You're using your shaman abilities to like cheat through school and cheat your way to success. I can't stand people like that. He storms off all angry, before thinking it over, even commenting himself how, as he's like storming off, he notices that Yo has scratches and scars on his body because like Yo is shirtless in the scene. And he's like, oh, he must have got there from falling down. He ain't known for hard work. He don't do anything challenging for himself. But we again learn something later. But he thinks Yo's a slacker, so he's like, oh, well, obviously those cuts and bruises are from like playful shit, falling down or something like that. Yo knows nothing about hard work. That's what Morty's thinking. Meanwhile, Yo had Amidamaru follow Morty to protect him because he had a bad feeling that something was going to happen in Tokyo. The falling billboard nearly falls on top of Morty, but Amidamaru is there, and because Morty can see spirits, And Minoru's like, hey, Morty, dodge! And Morty gets out of the way before he's nearly crushed to death. And we then get a look at the evil spirit that's haunting the billboard. And I do remember this episode from the manga, but this ghost is angry about the color white. He just keeps saying, white, white, white! And it's not a racist thing, trust me. It's about to be explained. It immediately tries to attack Morty, but thankfully a spirit can fight a spirit. Amidamaru doesn't need a shaman to fight another spirit. A shaman only needs a spirit to fight another shaman. But spirits can fight each other without a human spirit, without a human host, basically. Amidamaru goes on to explain that a spirit can remain fixated on a place based off powerful emotions, and this one is angry, and it takes it out on anyone that sees it, anyone that has a sixth sense. Now, he doesn't know why this ghost is angry about the color white, but he's like, hey, it's angry about something, it's fixated on this billboard, it's fixated on this building, and it kills anybody that recognizes it. If a normal person passing by is not going to see it, it's not going to acknowledge it, but anybody with a sixth sense that sees this ghost, that ghost is like, okay, you got to die. Morty then realizes something that's difficult even for Yo, that Yo has to deal with seeing ghosts like this all the time and probably dealing with ghosts like these and protecting people from the shadows like himself. Because again, Yo sent Amidamaru to protect Morty. If Yo didn't send Amidamaru to protect Morty, Morty would have died and been crushed to death, and this would have been the end of his story right here and there. However, Amidamaru goes on to explain that even though a spirit can fight another spirit, the strength of a spirit is overpowering by which one has greater emotions. And again, this one's a very angry spirit, and it's mad about the color white. And this is its territory. This is where it's been killing people, so it's been doing this for a long time. The anger goes to the obsessed with the color white, and so Yo shows up in the nick of time with white paint. And there's, a reason for this. It's all about to make sense. And I really like this. I really love this, even reading this again. To do this, Yo says he tracked down and talked to a lot of the neighbors. It doesn't say if it was ghosts. It doesn't say if it was humans. But obviously, Yo could have did both. And it shows how hardworking Yo is and his shamanic abilities. Like, Yo, he didn't just, see a ghost and just assume he knows what's happening. He talks to other people and find out how that ghost died, how that person passed away. Because all ghosts are spirits in some way or form, unless they're a demon. We then learn from Yo that this ghost, the first thing that we see is Yo allows this ghost to cut him because this ghosts normally have to interact with a physical object to hurt a person. But the fact that this ghost can touch Yo is because Yo is a shaman. It doesn't need to possess somebody. It doesn't need to use an object. It can physically touch Yo. So Yo's like, hey, I'm not gonna let you cut me. Get a free hit in. It was just so you would now understand and talk to me. Understand, we can talk to each other. Yo then goes on to say that the ghost was once a painter who was painting a billboard white, but he lost his footing or something like that. I think he was reaching for white paint. Yeah, it was he was reaching for white paint. He lost his footing. He fell into the road, and the ladder fell on top of him, and then a car hit him in the road, and he got run over. It all happened faster than the ghost or the human at the time could understand. He didn't even realize he died. He's just been angry about the color white because that's what he was reaching for. And he didn't even know why he was angry about white. It all happened so fast that the ghost didn't even realize how or why he died, but he was so passionate about his work and never finishing that billboard, he became fixated on the color white, and he would attack people with that billboard. Because that billboard was never finished, he was like, fuck this billboard. Fuck anybody that can sue me. Fuck you. I died. Now you died. Now you get to join me on the other side. Now you also don't get to understand why you died. But now Yo is willing to lend him a hand and use his body, so he integrates with the painter spirit, or with the ghost spirit of the billboard painter. And it allows him to finish working on his billboard. And as that's one of his jobs as a shaman. And it really makes you start to and love Yo, because you're starting to see his personality like that. And it gives me similar vibes to Monkey D. Luffy, because Monkey D. Luffy is a representation of freedom and liberation, like Joy Boy and all that. And Luffy's always been like that. So really love it. Maybe that's why I'm so drawn to Shaman King, because I'm also drawn to Luffy in that same way. And so the fixated ghost turns back into a painter. And with Yo allowing him to possess his body, the painter finishes this billboard, and he was able to move on, and Morty found a new respect for Yo. Morty's like, oh, those scars from Yo are real. He does this. He allows spirits to take over his body. He helps him pass on, and sometimes he gets injured and stuff like that. And we're going to see a lot more of that soon. The following day, we meet a bully named Tatsushi. Again, I might be saying these names wrong. This is another one I like. We learned that a once world champion boxer named Gushi, again, might be saying the names wrong, sorry, I'm going to keep saying that, but I might be getting the names wrong, once tried to take on Tatsushi as his prodigy, but after an accident, he died in a car, he died in an accident, he dies in an accident, and he passed away, and so his gym went bankrupt. Once Gushi died, his world boxing champion, it didn't matter, no one could pay the bills at his building, so it went bankrupt. So Tatsushi took his lessons out on people, and it made him even a worse bully with no good mentor left to guide him. So Tatsu, that's what I'm gonna call him. He was a bully, and he would beat up people. And Gushi took him on. He's like, "Hey, use your fist for good. Use your fist, kind of like Chad's grandfather told Chad to use his fist to protect people. Use his fist for Ichigo, his best friend." And so Yo takes interest in a boxing ghost and goes to Tatsu to try to learn more about him. Hearing the name of his old mentor Gushi in front of Tatsu pisses him off and triggers something inside of him. So he lays Yo out with a single punch and sends him to the nurse. Yo's like, "Hey, Tatsu, you're Gushi's mentor, right?" And Tatsu's like, "Don't ever mention that name in front of me again," and he knocks Yo out. Morty says that Tatsu is a bad guy and he has no friends or family and they should just leave him alone. But again, Yo was like, "No, I don't sense any bad from that guy. I think he's troubled. I think he's hurting, but he's not. He's a good guy. I sense that inside of him." And Amitamaro immediately agrees. And he was like, "Yeah, like I totally get that guy from that guy too. Like he just seems like he's hurting. He doesn't seem like a bad guy at all." And so they hope to find more answers, and there's only one person that gives them the answer to that, and of course it's going to be the spirit Gushi. I already saw that coming. Anybody that read the manga this far or read the story so far knows that's how it's going to be. Yo sends Amitamaro to go talk with the spirits, and he asks Morty to go with him to check out closed boxing rings. So they have to look for the spirit Gushi. Like Gushi's not just like hanging around. They're like, "Hey, maybe the spirit is hanging out in one of these old boxing rings," and of course it's probably the one that his closed gym is at. So Yo's like, "Hey, let's track the spirit down. Maybe he has some unfinished business, and maybe he can help us find out what's going on with Tatsu." And can you guess who's back? It's Ryu and his gang looking for their happy place. Because we skip over to a scene where we're in the closed boxing ring, and it used to be Gucci's boxing area, but Ryu thinks it's his new happy place. But instead they run into Tatsu, who beats him up immediately. He's like, "Hey, your happy place ain't here. Get lost. This is my place." And currently, you can also see Ryu's new do, which is still severed from when Yo cut it. It hasn't changed completely yet, but you're going to start seeing some changes to that do very soon. We then learn more about Tatsu as he chases them off. He says that Gushi's gym is his home, and he hates him for dying. Gushi was the first person to lay Tatsu on his ass and was teaching him a better way to use his fists than bullying. So, yeah, it's just another story that everybody's used to. Your mentor that was helping you get through your hard times and troubles, he passed away, so now you're angry. Like, the kid that was a bully, he gets trained by a good mentor. Demon Slayer just did it as well. And when your mentor dies, you just go back to being a bully. You just go back to your old ways. So Yo has come here with the spirit of Gushi to whip him back into the right. And I really like this. Again, you're seeing the awesomeness of Shaman King and Yo's personality, and even Morty's seeing this firsthand, like how awesome Yo is. Because though the spirit is allowing Yo to use their abilities, Yo's body still takes the physical damage. Like Yo's might be using the spirit to possess his body and use their abilities, but Yo's body is still taking the physical damage. Like the spirit's not going to take damage from that. Yo's physical body takes the damage. Though this battle Through this battle, Tatsu can start to see, though he can't see the spirit of his mentor, he can feel his master's presence through Yo, like Yo does. Not Yo. Yo's possessed by Gushi. He can see like the moves that Gushi is doing. He can see like the smirk that Gushi's doing every time he not mentor him, mentor him, tutor him, or something like that, or hound him on something. In the end, Tatsu was inspired to take up boxing again by his master spirit. And Yo ran away from the boxing spirit as his second potential partner because he got beaten up badly. Oh, yeah, so it ends on a joke. So Tatsu got to see his mentor through Yo, or feel his presence and get re-inspired to try boxing again. And then Yo, he was looking for a second partner. He was like, Amitamaro is a great spirit ally, but I could use more than one. But he got beaten up in that fight. He's like, "Oh, forget boxing. This hurts. My body can't handle that." I really love that. We then learn about memorial tablets, which is one way shamans carry around spirits so they don't have to exhaust themselves with soul integration all day. I mean, of course, Amidamaru could just like float around all day he wants, but at least with a memorial tablet, it's kind of like Amidamaru gets to rest. But he's already a spirit. He's already a ghost. He already lived 600 years. He gets to like sleep until Yo needs him, or Yo wants to hang out or talk to him. The next day, Yo and Morty come across a restaurant that's on fire, and fire trucks are nowhere in sight. And so this is another way that we get to see how spirits are used by shamans to help out in everyday life. Morty immediately wants to run away, but Yo tells him that there could be people inside. Yo's like, hey, we can't leave them. If there's people inside there, we have to save them. We have to do something. And Morty's like, hey, they leave out the fireman. We can't fight a fire. Yo sends Amidamaru inside because as a spirit, he can't be harmed by fire or blocked by walls. And he can see that there's children on the burning roof. Like Amidamaru, he's like, hey, Amidamaru, go investigate. Find out if there's anybody inside that building. And because Amidamaru is a ghost, he can go through the flames without being afraid. He can go through walls without being blocked or having to open a door. And he finds 3 children on the roof. And Amidamaru points back to Yo. He's like, hey, yeah, there's children up there. We got to do something. So Yo's like, hey, Amidamaru, see how close the fire trucks are. And Amidamaru flies up high into the air. And he sees that the fire trucks are blocked by traffic. He's like, they're blocked by traffic. They're never going to make it here in time, Yo. They don't stand a chance. And so Yo, without hesitation, picks up a bucket of water, dumps it on top of himself, and he races into that building. Just kind of like Spider-Man, like when Spider-Man 2, and like Tobey Maguire lost all his Spider-Man abilities, or they were blocked mentally, and he still rushed into that building to save that kid, because that's what he does. That's what the hero does, whether you have powers or not. That just goes to show how great Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was. That just goes to show how great Yo is. Even without shaman abilities, Yo would be willing to risk his life to go in there to save somebody. And so bravely, despite Amidamaru's protest, because Amidamaru's like, yo, if you go in there, I can't protect you. I can't do anything about the fire, And Yo was like, hey, Amidamaru, I'm trusting you to protect me and fight with me and guide me. So I'm putting my faith in you, but these kids need me. And so he rushes in there, and at one point, Yo is nearly crushed to death by like these falling, because the building's collapsing in on itself. And Amidamaru takes over Yo's body and immediately crushes those rocks with like a steel pipe that he uses as a weapon. And I love that. I really love that. Like, Yo and Amidamaru had that kind of bond. Amidamaru was like, oh, you trusted me. You knew I would save you. And Yo was like, yeah, of course. Now let's say those kids. Together, Yo and Amidamaru managed to break open a water tank inside the building that put out the fire, and they saved those kids, all to the unknown man, because normal men don't know that Yo is possessed by a spirit. They just see a young kid, a young boy that rushed into that fire and saved those kids, and they're like, wow, you're a true hero. Which is half true. Yo did do that initially, and Amidamaru helped him, because he wouldn't have been able to probably cut that pipe on his own without Amidamaru. But I do love that. So it's half true. Yo gets half that glory. Or probably 100% because Yo rushed into that building regardless. But watching from the shadows is a new unseen enemy and one of my favorite characters named Lin, or Ren in the anime or the manga, with his spirit Basan, a Chinese warrior or Chinese warlord, it says. The following day, Morty is late for school yet again, and he's running to the cemetery when he comes across a new character. That new character being Lin, or as I said, Ren. But we're going to call him Lin because I like that name. Lin gives off Shadow the Hedgehog, like when he first comes across Sonic and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and you're going to get that reference in a second because of what's going to happen. He teleports behind Morty, but he doesn't even come...
What?
It all starts with this. A jewel containing the ultimate power.
That's the Chaos Emerald! Now I know what's going on. The military has mistaken me for the likes of you. So, where do you think you're going with that emerald? Say something, you fake hedgehog!
Chaos Control!
Wow, he's fast! Hey, it's not his speed. He must be using the Chaos Emerald to warp.
To fight him, he just kind of give Morty a warning to Yo. He's like, hey, Morty, give Yo a message from me. Tell him that I'm going to take Amidamaru, his spirit, as my own ally. And Morty's like, how the hell did you get behind me? It was really giving Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, okay? Lin's first appearance. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I know you're going to get my cutscenes and all that. It's going to make sense when I cut them all in here. The next day at school, Morty is trying to warn Yo about Lin and his warning. And Yo was like, oh, that's cool. Another shaman. Yeah, of course there's other shamans out there. I never thought there was only shaman out there. In fact, Yo's opinion is that anyone that can see spirits can't be bad, and Amidamaru is thinking the same thing. Lin must want him because he's powerful. They don't realize that Lin is our second major antagonist. But that's okay. Because Yo, at this point, has been laid back. He doesn't know like there's bad shamans out there, shamans with evil intent. Hint towards the very end of this manga. Well, I think halfway we meet him. But I ain't going to spoil that yet. And I was like, oh, if you only knew, Yo, how wrong you are about evil shamans. But they won't have to wait long because Lin is just outside where they're eating, or I think they were in a restaurant or something like that. And Lin is standing in the middle of the street surrounded by thugs. And I think in the anime it was just a speeding car because, again, 4 kids like censors a lot of stuff. But either way, they try to attack Lin, and Lin immediately takes him out without his spirit baton. Lin takes him out with just his own kung fu abilities, like his own strength, which impresses Yo. Yo's like, wow, that kid is really strong. Like, I would hate to fight that guy. I don't want to fight him. Okay, that guy is strong on his own. We then get the car scene, which I'm pretty sure is from the anime, but again, it wasn't like, it was more censored. One of the thugs is trying to run Lin over, which I think, again, was differently. I didn't put in here, different than the 4 Kids anime. So, and rightfully, in my opinion, Lin summons his spirit, Basan, the Chinese warlord, and slices the car in half with his spear-tipped blade. Now, even though Lin is evil, early Shaman King, he made the right choice. Someone's trying to run you over, bitch. And it's all because, I mean, Lin kicked somebody's car like with his foot. He kicked their car, so he pissed off the thugs. And the thugs want to beat his ass, so Lin beat their ass, so now they're trying to run him over. But I was like, okay. He kicked your car, could have yelled at him, you know, and then, or you want to fight him after that because you could have just yelled at him, walked away. Your car was okay. He whooped your ass, you could have left, but tried to run him over. Okay, that's where Lin was kind of justified. Where Lin's not justified is this next scene. Lin tries to, like, cut one of the thugs in half, like with this spear-tip blade. Spear-tip blade. That's where, oh, and I'm forgetting to mention that Yo saw Lin cut that truck in half, and he was awed. Like, Yo was like stunned. Okay, he was like, wow, he's powerful. But where Yo would not let him cross the line was killing an innocent human. He's like, hey, shamans don't kill people. We don't do that. Like, stop. And Tao Lin, that's his full name, Tao Lin, says that his goals in becoming Shaman King is ridding the world of people he deems are ruining the population, which basically means, I don't think he breaks it down here, but Lin's basically like, oh, I'm getting rid of all these humans. They're polluting the skies with their cars, and they're ruining the natural world. I'm going to get rid of all of them. And that's Lin's definition of what he wants to do when he becomes Shaman King. Lin then demands that Yo hand over Amidamaru, which of course Yo says no, Amidamaru is his friend. Yo's like, I'm not handing you Amidamaru over, he's my best friend. Which makes Lin burst into laughter. He finds that hilarious. He's like, spirits are nothing more than tools for shamans. What do you mean he's your friend? He's like, does a carpenter call his saw his best friend? No, the saw is just a tool. That's what spirits are. But a saw has never had a human spirit. A saw had never had a soul before. All spirits were once humans, unless again they're a demon. They had a human soul. So, I do disagree with Lin there. But in the terms of the carpenter and the saw, yeah, I get what you're saying, Lin. That was a funny analogy, but you're wrong about the human spirits. Lin then tells Yo that he's too weak to take... Lin then tells Yo he's too weak and too soft-hearted to own a powerful spirit like Amidamaru, and if you won't hand him over, he'll take him by force. Because if a shaman's dead, you can't use that spirit anymore. You're not a spirit yourself, so the spirit's up for grabs. You know... I want to say it's like Pokemon, but Pokemon, you can't take another Pokemon. You can't take another trainer's Pokemon like that. You can't take it by force. Unless you got a capture ball like Mewtwo or something like that. But that's not how it works in Shaman King. You have to kill the other user. I guess Dash Bell, no, because Dash Bell, you burn their book, they're gone. They're back to the Maroda world. There was one anime, I think, where you can kill the user and take their ability or something like that. I forgot what it is. But you know what it is, comment that in the comments below. This is also the first time we've ever seen Yo angry, as he doesn't like how Lin talks about human spirits like they're objects. Again, I understand, because human spirits used to have a life. You can't talk about them like they're tools. And seeing Yo angry for the first time in this manga volume was pretty dope. Like, you've never seen Yo angry, because Yo's been laid back this whole time and, like, peaceful and saving people's lives. And so that was pretty cool. And so their first battle begins. The first of many battles between Yo and Lin. A samurai spirit versus a Chinese warlord, but to bystander, it's probably like a child with a pipe fighting a child with a sword tipped spear or spear tipped blade. Because again, Yo does not have a Midamaru's blade. I don't think I mentioned that yet. I did, because they returned a Midamaru's blade back to the museum. So Yo doesn't have like a Midamaru's blade. He's not fighting with a weapon. Lin is fighting with the actual weapon. But yeah, I'm surprised the cops ain't called, because they're like, hey, these two kids fighting in the street. They fighting to the death, and one of them got a blade. Okay. Anyways, or I think Yo at the beginning had a boken. He had a wooden sword, I think. Lin then uses his move that he wants to use to cut the car in half, but because Midamaru is a powerful and skilled samurai spirit, he manages to parry it away, which makes Lin want him even more. So even though Lin is using an actual weapon and Midamaru isn't, Midamaru is so skilled that he was able to move Yo's body out of the way with expert timing and expert parrying. And Lin was like, oh, yes, you are way more powerful than Masan. You're way more powerful than the Chinese warlord spirit I have. I want you. I will have you. We then learn something crazy. Yo is only using 10% of Midamaru's power, where Lin can access 100% of Masan's power. He claims that Midamaru is even stronger than Masan. That's why he wants Midamaru. He's like, you're this strong, and Yo's barely using 10% of your power. Oh yeah, I take control of you. I'll unlock 100% of your power. I will bend you to my will. You do whatever I want, and we'll be stronger. We will become the Shaman King for sure. This 100% power does stun Yo, and he does lose their initial fight at first. Like, Yo was like, whoa, this is 100% power. I've never seen this before. This is incredible. I can't do anything to it. Lin then taunts Yo that he doesn't have the mental capacity to unlock 100%, and that is why he's going to steal the Midamaru, because his ghost... I already talked about this, because a ghost without a shaman can be taken, basically. Lin continues to taunt him, talking down to him, saying that a shaman who considers ghosts his friends can never hope to dominate a ghost's willpower. So Lin's like, hey, the reason why you'll never unlock 100% with the Midamaru is you think of him as your friend. You don't see him as a tool. You see him as like a person. He's a spirit. He died. He's yours to use. You're a shaman. This is what we do. His reasoning during soul integration, two souls occupy the body at the same time, meaning one has to overpower the other, or there will be delayed reaction in the body's movements. The only way it can be fully optimized is if one submits to the other. So basically, like when Goku and Vegeta fuse together, they're sharing the same body, but unless they agree on the same attack right, attack left, dodge, 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 if they button heads inside of Vegeta's body or inside of Gogeta's body, they're not going to react the right way. So you got to be like Gogeta, you got to be like Vegeta and attack together. That's what Lin's kind of saying, but he's like, my spirit is overpowering yours. Whereas, well, I guess it's different because Goku's not overpowering Vegeta, Vegeta's not overpowering Goku. They're kind of working together in that sense. So, right analogy, but wrong way I said it. Sorry about that. He then goes on to say that a Midamaru is far stronger than Yo can control, but he will control a Midamaru excellently and go on to become the Shaman King. He reiterates that. But then Yo surprises Lin by standing back up. Yo is like, oh, I ain't down for the count yet. It turns out that Midamaru dodged just enough in the nick of time to save Yo from having his arm sliced off. Like, if Midamaru wasn't the Fiend, if he wasn't a powerful swordsman, Yo would be dead by now. Which surprises Lin and makes him want him even more. Lin is like having an orgasm of like a power right now. He's like, oh my God, you are so strong. I am definitely capturing you no matter what. You are mine, Midamaru. Yo admits, though, to Midamaru that he probably can't beat Lin in the fight, and he asks Midamaru to run to save himself because he knows Midamaru, because he's like, I know I can't win this fight. But Midamaru's personality from the past, like Monosuke, we already know him. Midamaru is not going to abandon Yo, because Midamaru wasn't going to abandon his lord, even though he told him to kill Monosuke, and he told Monosuke to escape, and he knew that his lord would send the goons after him. But Yo argues that Midamaru still has a promise to know with his best friend Monosuke on the other side, which again doesn't happen in the anime. Again, I think in the manga I might have misscrewed that in my notes because I know that Morty gets possessed by Monosuke at some point. They do meet up again, so I do like that. I do like they get to meet each other again. But yeah, Yo was like, hey, Midamaru, you got to promise your best friend. Like, don't waste that. You can go see your best friend. Don't let this asshole take you over because I'm too weak to protect you. Plus, Yo won't let a guy like Lin have him either way, just making me like Yo even more. Like, Yo sticks his tongue out of him like, nah, I'm gonna let Midamaru get away. You suck. But again, Amidamaru, despite Yo not being his lord, doesn't want to let him die either in this battle because he's grown to like Yo. He's like, hey, Yo, I've grown to like you. I see you as a friend as well. You see me as a friend, I see you as a friend as well. So he's like, I want to stay here. I want to protect you. I want to help you become the Shaman King. So we can see that Yo and Amidamaru think 100% the same way, which means they also have 100% integration, but even stronger than Lin and Basan, because not only is Basan bending to Lin's will, but Amidamaru and Yo are working together. Again, they are Vegito and Gogeta, whereas Lin is like, oh no, you're my subordinate, you listen to me. I'm the overpowering will. It's like, again, if Vegito was taken over by fully Vegito or Gogeta was taken fully over by Goku, but it's not that sense. Or I guess the analogy would be Super Buu, who possessed or who subdued Fat Buu, you know, basically like subdued him, whereas like Gogeta and, again, Vegito, they work together. As for Lindo, he finds it hilarious, and he still believes that this will be the downfall of them both. And he goes to strike Yo down again. He's like, oh, you guys are hilarious. You think you'll win with the power of friendship? I'm going to whoop your ass. I'm going to take Amidamaru for myself. But this time, Yo and Amidamaru are ready to catch his spear with their bare hands. Like, they don't block it with their pike. Yo and Amidamaru grab it with their bare hands, briefly scaring Lin. Lin's like, whoa, what the fuck? Perhaps they could have achieved 100% integration. That's what Lin's thinking. He's like, no way, this slacker, this guy, he know how to use 10%. How the hell would he unlock 100% right now? But Yo immediately confirms his thoughts, as if he read his mind, saying that now that he and Amidamaru are 100% in sync in mind and desire, they've already reached 100% integration. They're the same in mind and spirit, and they begin to take the stance that Morty's familiar with. Now, again, I'm going to butcher this name. It's a stance that earned Amidamaru the title of Fiend 100 years ago. The Tagato. Amidamaru has one sheath and a blade on his side, and he kind of like strikes forward, like thrusts forward. Again, I know he doesn't have his actual blade right now or sheath, but that's the kind of impression that it's giving. Lin still views this as a joke, saying if there was ever a time a friend did 100% of what you wanted them to do, which in real life, no, nobody's ever going to do what you want them to do. You can pick your friends and you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose. You can't make your friends do what you want to do. But in this anime, Yo and Amidamaru say yes, because Amidamaru stayed 600 years ago in that spot waiting for Monosuke, even though he heard Monosuke died. And Monosuke stayed by Amidamaru's blade, feeling sorry, feeling bad that he couldn't get his blade to his best friend. Monosuke knew he was going to die, but he wanted to save Amidamaru's life. He knew Amidamaru was going to fight for his life. You know, so I really love that. So in this anime, in instance, yes, a friend does 100% what you want them to do. And together they show Lin and Basan the answer by taking them both down and with one proper strike from their blade, or again, pipe, whatever you want to call it. And again, I love it so much. But Morty is left with the question, who and what is the Shaman King? That is the very end of Shaman King Volume 1. I know this was a super long video, but I wanted to get in so much detail and show you guys the manga panels. I didn't want to just talk about it and not show you guys what I'm talking about as I do with all the other manga panels. But I don't want this video to be too long. What I will tell you is that if you've never read the Shaman King manga, definitely check it out. You can watch the 4Kids anime. It's great. Do not watch it. The Netflix one is supposed to be faithful, but it flies through everything way too fast. I recommend 4Kids if you want to watch Shaman King at all. And again, the DVD is on Amazon. But this is great. And watch my previous video called Shaman King, the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood Effect, or whatever I called it. Or just stay tuned to me as we talk about these. Probably, I don't know, once a week, once every 2 weeks. We'll see how fast we can get these videos out there. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll talk to you later. Bye.